It's February 17th, 2025. I am at Joel Pearl, or thejoelpearl.com on Blue Sky, and it's time to get in the weeds. A marvelous Monday morning. Hopefully the snow in your area is gone. Toronto has been digging out since this morning. Jeremy Lambert is here. He's digging out all the time. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm well.
Yeah, you had to think about it, huh?
Yeah, I always got to think about it.
I get it.
Think about it.
Yeah. Hey, listen. How big is it? Come on, whip it out. How big is it? We got to know. Did you ship it all the way to Ohio?
Technically, yes. I mean, it came with me.
Yeah, it came with you. You didn't lose it. You didn't have to get some extras on the way.
No.
We're talking about like 16, 18, 20.
It's about, I go a break from tradition a little bit.
Yeah.
And go 20, 21 and 3/4.
Wow.
I feel like it's
okay. Yeah.
You don't see that too often, but I like to break from tradition.
Somewhere around here, huh?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, there you go. Seems to be the going number.
Yeah.
20, 21, 22. It's good. Louis got a good point. The smaller can be better. Many prefer it. It's a good point. A lot of people learn on 14. A lot of indies, get their start on 14s, and then you grow. Some people are growers. They're not immediate showers. They got to get their way. The wood expands after a little while. So good.
Glad we've settled that.
The stupidest bit coming out of this weekend, and I woke up to it. I saw. Here's the thing, I don't want to harp on that. I only want to make fun of this for so long, but I saw someone mention, is it me or does the ring look smaller? And I was like, okay, they probably don't have their regular ring, not the first time. And then I went back to sleep, and then I woke up to everything else and said to myself, I'm glad I went back to sleep. What a amazing way to have your weekend. Amazing.
I made a joke. People in AEW liked my joke, and then I moved on with my life.
Bless. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. Well, you need to do that, and then eventually you need the pals to weigh in like the best way possible. Why did I pick the wrong one? I always pick the wrong one. Eventually, your friends need to get you in there. Well, not like that. Hold on, I gotta upload it. See, and I get
what is going on here, Joel?
It's the worst. And now we're over capacity, so now I gotta do this. This is the worst. All this just to put up Ken Bruno's fantastic artwork.
Ken Bruno. Oh, I didn't see that one.
It's the one that he just sent to me.
Oh, okay, that one's good. He sent one on socials that I think I retweeted, but yeah, he sent that one. I haven't seen that one. That one's good.
Yeah, he just sent that to me. Shout out to Ken. So he's always sending us the funniest stuff imaginable. Yeah. All right, it's Monday morning. We're here. So are you. If you haven't already, leave a thumbs up on the video. Just for that content alone, you deserve to leave a thumbs up on the video and subscribe to the channel. We are moving up the ladder in terms of our subscription, so tell everyone else to come and join us. It's free to subscribe, and you get all the content. It's not just us. We have plenty of contributors and plenty of shows on this program and beyond. So check us out. Donate a super chat, any amount. Get your question or state on the air, like Louis did just a couple of minutes ago. We always appreciate that, and we got plenty to talk about. It was a busy weekend between leaving a thumbs up, getting the pyro and the ballyhoo going. Come on, your pyro is just not working. There you go. Got that pyro. And we had a busy weekend between SmackDown, Vengeance Day, AEW Grand Slam, the Jersey J Cup, not the Jersey Jacob, and then the NBA All-Star game where they played a grand total of 20 minutes of basketball, and then they had 80 minutes of advertisements.
Nobody cares.
Jeremy Lambert spent his whole time looking at his computer writing stuff.
Nobody cares. I didn't watch a single second of the NBA All-Star game, mind you. The SNL 50 anniversary show was last night. That's what we watched.
Very funny. I watched that in bits and pieces. Very funny.
I did not care to watch the NBA All-Star game. I read a lot of the discourse on it. I was like, yeah, this seems stupid. I watched Saturday night, the Saturday night festivities, because that's at least a little fun. The 3-point contest is usually fun. The slam dunk contest it was good this year. It was good. It still sucks that nobody like actual talent doesn't want to do it, but the slam dunk contest was good. USA versus Canada is where it was at Saturday night. 3 fights in 9 seconds into the game. Let's go. They might meet again on Thursday. We got USA and Sweden today at 1. And Canada and Finland's at 1. USA and Sweden is at 8 tonight, which that game might end up being meaningless if Canada or Finland, whoever wins in regulation, could advance or will advance to the final. But if they go to overtime, then Sweden has a chance to advance to the final. So it's the 4-nation face-off. That's what I've been watching. I don't care about the stupid All-Star game, which no one cared about, or wrestling. Who could possibly care about wrestling?
Very excited for a bunch of Americans to completely lose the plot and boo the Swedish national anthem. And the finish. Let's face it, he's gonna boo everything.
I think playing the national anthem before games is stupid anyway.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
I don't care what game it is. I just think it's dumb. There was last year we went to, it was like a high school basketball game, and they played they accidentally, it was after warm-ups for the game, and they were about to play the national anthem. And I think they played like a Lil Jon song by accident instead of the national anthem, because they're like, "Oh, now please stand for the national anthem." It's like, to the window, to the wall. Like, hell yeah, this should be the national anthem. Now you'll get me going.
That's it right there. That should be the national anthem. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of our national anthem. Psst, I see dead people. And then we just start going crazy.
It should be our national anthem.
I mean, listen, the way it's been played, it should be. Oh my goodness. Yeah, there was. I haven't watched much of the 4 Nations just because there's nothing seemingly at stake here other than what? Pride?
Yeah, but like, it's good competition. I mean, there's nothing at stake in the All-Star game, and there's nothing in stake. Technically, there's nothing at stake in like a regular season game. I mean, it's just win, sure, but it's good competition, you know? Like, it's good to see them do this after we'd skipped out on it for so long. I think there's got to be some monetary thing at stake, right? Like, there has
I assume if you make the team, you get paid for that, and then if you win, there's got to be some sort of financial compensation. There has to be.
The thing with hockey compared to other sports is like these players have so much national pride. Like, I don't think basketball players have that much. Like, they have a little bit. It's not like non-existent, but we saw it for years of like the best players didn't want to go to the Olympics until this year, where it was, oh, this is going to be our last time. We're probably all going to be here. So sure, Durant, Steph, LeBron, they all wanted to go to the Olympics. Like, hockey has so much pride in their nationality that like it sucked that they haven't been in the Olympics for years. That changes next year, thankfully. But like, it's been very unfortunate that they have been in Olympics for years. Like, the 4 Nations thing, it's so much better than the All-Star break, because that's what this would have been. This would have been the NHL All-Star break. They would have done the dumb skills competition where no one cared about. They would have played the stupid 3-on-3, which is like fine, but it's clear like it's just a showcase of talent, which that's what the All-Star game is, I get, but it's not that fun. Like, the 4 Nations thing, like, if you watched that game and weren't immediately enthralled 9 seconds in when we got 3 different fights, and they were throwing in those fights too. Like, you see some hockey fights where it's like, let's like dance around a little bit, then grab and then tussle. Like, nah, the Kachucks were throwing down, brother.
They jumped each other at the beginning of this. That's true.
No, good stuff.
But but here's the thing, and I know you're talking about next year, the Olympics, the hockey teams will be back, like the NHL players will be back. Man, like for this, the 4 Nations, you know what I miss? I miss the Japanese player, the team from Japan, the team from Latvia, the team from Belarus, the lovable losers that inevitably lose 17-1. But like, they learn a little bit. They get little brothered a little bit. And there's always that one NHL star who's like the big star for this random ass team, and they're the one who got the one goal, or at least the one assist. I miss that.
Well, the problem with doing that in the middle of the NHL season is you can do it with the Olympics, because the Olympics is obviously more than just hockey. You can't like pause the NHL season for 2 weeks to bring over these players from like Japan and Latvia and stuff. Like that's why it's only 4, because you only do 3 round robin games and then a championship game. You're pausing the season for like a week for this stuff, which is fine. I think it should be 6. I think you should add Czech and you should add Russia, because there's enough NHL talent or talent that plays in competitive leagues over in the KHL to where you could make it worthwhile. I loved what they did in 2016, the World Cup of Hockey, where they had Czech, Russia, and Team Europe, which was basically every European player who didn't make the national team, and then Team North America, which was Canada and US players under 21. That was a team with like McKinnon and McDavid when they were still young, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. That team was electric. Austin Matthews, like, that team was fantastic. That game against Sweden is one of the best hockey games ever. The Sweden versus Team North America. Go watch that overtime. It's crack out there. They're not going to do that again as much as I'd love it, but add Czech and Russia. I think that would be serviceable for not next year, because they're doing the Olympics next year, but 2 years down the line. But it's so much better than the All-Star break, though. I'd much rather watch these 4 nation games. I can't remember the last time I watched an NHL All-Star game. It's just, it's not that fun to it. Like there's not a whole lot to it. It's just, all right, cool. Here's players that I watch all the time anyway, just showing off their skills and stuff. Like I can watch this in the games. They do a lot of this stuff in the games. Like they do fancy stuff in the game, especially 3-on-3 overtime. So yeah, it's just not that fun. That's why I don't care to watch the NBA All-Star games. Like, all right, we're just going to do a bunch of dunks and threes. You guys do this all the time in the games anyway.
It's always felt like the MLB All-Star break has been the one that at least has something to it. You have the home run competition, but really the game itself, the winner gets home field advantage, or at least that's the way it's been for a long time.
I don't know if that's what it is anymore.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I know that for a long time was one of the drawing points as a baseball fan to actually care about the All-Star break for baseball. I don't know if they did that with hockey ever. I don't think they ever. Well, they did when East and West were facing each other, and then they've kind of mixed it up a little bit, haven't they?
They've done USA, or maybe it was North America versus the world. I distinctly remember that. Yeah,
I had a North American jersey for a long time. Don't ask me where it is. I think my brother stole it.
They keep changing the format over the years for reasons. The same reason the NBA changes the format every year. It's like, oh, this will get fans interested. This will get fans interested. The problem is the players aren't interested. So if the players aren't that interested, fans aren't going to be that interested. I think the hockey players take All-Star Weekend a little more serious than NBA players do, but no one takes it that serious. It's all just like, oh, this is a cool thing. We get a rest from the season. But then you have, the competitive players, the guys who actually make it and everything, they're there, and it's not a rest for them. They got to do all these media obligations that I don't think half of them like doing. And then they got to do these skills competitions that I don't think half of them like doing. And then they play in a relatively meaningless game, and then they get back to their teams and everything. It hasn't become fun for the players for a long time. And last night, from what I've seen, it doesn't look like there was a ton of basketball played. They were doing like Kevin Hart comedy sets in the middle of the game and everything. And then Draymond's bearing the product anyway. Charles Barkley's always bearing the product. Like the players just haven't taken it serious for a while. And it's tough for the fans to buy in if the players aren't going to buy in. Yeah, they change the format every 2 years. So it's like, what's the format this year? What are we doing this year? Like, what actually worked last night from what I saw? So they had the Rising Stars game, which is on Friday night. And like that team gets into the 4-team tournament on Sunday. And that team faced like the team with like LeBron. LeBron didn't play because he announced that he was out like 2 seconds before the game started. that was the team with like Dame, Steph, Durant, all like the older guys, older players. And those dudes were so threatened to losing to like second year players and first year players that they like actually tried. And that's kind of what you got to do. That's why like that's why none of the like top players will be in the dunk contest, because everyone's afraid to lose to this white dude who's not even in the league. Like, he's in the G League. Like, LeBron doesn't want to show up and be like, wait a second, I'm going to lose to this Mac McClung. Mac McClung is going to beat me. That's why none of these guys want to do the dunk contest. They're all so afraid of losing to these nobodies. No offense to Mac McClung, but like, he's literally not in the NBA. He's a G League player. Good on him. He's making a career and a life out of it. He comes out every year for the dunk contest and gets more money in the dunk contest than he gets paid for playing basketball year round. So, but that's why no one wants to do it. But that's why it worked last night, because Dame, Steph, and KD were like so afraid of losing these first and second year players. Like, oh, we've actually had a try in this game, and they won. Good on them. But that's like the way to threaten these guys, essentially, is like, yeah, you guys are going to lose to nobodies out here. Now you'll actually try. You got to get like college players against them. That should be the all-star game. Like, get the national champions, whoever wins the national title the year prior, get them there and have them play against NBA all-stars. And you'll see you'll see how much better the NBA players are than these national champions. 2, you'll get these NBA players trying for at least the first 5 minutes until they run them off the floor.
Well, shout out to the stopwatchers, because it's not just pro wrestling. It happened last night too. Over on the NBA subreddit, someone had posted 42 minutes of actual basketball was played in a 3-hour all-star game. And they gave a minute breakdown, right? They said the intro with the ads, 30 minutes. Pre-game talk, 10 minutes. Game 1 was Kenny versus Chuck, 12 minutes. The Mr. Beast challenge was 5 minutes. Game 2, Shaq versus the Rising Stars team, was 16 minutes. Musical performance, 6 minutes. Inside the NBA tribute, 9 minutes. Game 3, Chuck versus Shaq, 9 minutes for the Inside the NBA tribute, and then 14 minutes for the Chuck versus Shaq game, and then post game was 6 minutes. Desk game intros, analyst desk game intros, and segment total 22 minutes. Ads in total 80 minutes. Fantastic. The ads were almost double the actual basketball time.
Well, the thing is they play these games to 40, and it doesn't take these teams. It's when there's no defense being played, and then take these teams long to hit 40, because they're just taking a bunch of threes and they're getting wide open dunks on like every possession. So it doesn't take them long to hit 40.
It's same in the NHL, where it's just like the D is not there and the goaltender's like, I'm gonna injure myself for this shit. Just let it go.
But there's at least time on the NHL. You're playing 10, 15-minute periods, whatever they do in the All-Star game. I don't feel like it's 20 minutes. I feel like they've changed the format so much over the years where it's like 2 10-minute halves or something. But they play these games just to 40, so there's no time limit. So like the games can be over in 10 minutes, theoretically. It doesn't take these guys long to hit 40 points. And then you got to fill in 3 hours after that. Like, it'd be cool if it was just like an hour and a half program. Like, yeah, let's just do the game and then do a little analysis, and then let's get out. Yeah, analyst.
Thank you.
And then let's get out. But they got to fill 3 hours. So it's like, here's this competition and that competition and a musical performance and a bunch of ads. So because the games are maybe 10 to 15 minutes, it's like, well, how do we fill the rest of this time? And that's what they've come up with. And, that's what it is. So we'll actually turn this into wrestling, I guess, sadly. So Saturday night, I told everybody, and smart people knew, but I told everybody, they're saying 10:30. Ain't started 10:30, folks. You're getting 10:50 or 11. And when did it start? Between 10:50 and 11. When did the dunk contest end? Dunk contest ended at about 10:30, maybe 10:35. But then you got to do the trophy presentation. And then you got to do ads. And then you got to do the wrap up. And then you got to do more ads. And then by the time all of that was done, it was about 10:55 that the show actually started. Because that's what it is. It's become so much about the performances and the ads that the actual competition and stuff is secondary to it, which is a shame, but that's how it goes.
To tell you a secret, I was in bed at 9:45 p.m. Eastern on Saturday night.
Must be nice.
It was fantastic. I watched Vengeance Day, and then I said, I will watch Grand Slam tomorrow when I'm feeling chipper. And I'm glad that I did, because it made my night so much better, and I slept so much better, and I didn't have to worry about what happened, because I read the spoilers. I knew what happened. I was like, okay, nothing massive here. A couple things that'll be newsworthy, but other than that, I can just watch the show on my own time, and that's what I did. I got a good night's sleep, and I didn't have to listen to people bitch about the ring. Fantastic. You know what they should have done, by the way, for the NBA All-Star game? Just had Bayley come out, bring her up, and have her cut a promo for all the breaks. Should have done that.
You were way off on your Bayley prediction.
Oh, come on, that's
way off.
Just like our pal David LaGreca, I was doing it just for the content, but nobody clips our shit, so it's probably for the best. Yeah. Did she score 18 points? No. Did she have a great showing? Who knows? Did she appear in the game? Yes, she did, and that's all that matters. I was still right about one thing.
Bless Bayley, by the way. She's in Oakland on Friday to do the Celebrity All-Star game. Flies cross country to DC to do Vengeance Day. Flies back to Oakland for Sunday because she was at the All-Star game last night.
It's fantastic. Good for her, man.
For her. Like, bless her. That's a long flight to go back to Oakland. I mean, maybe she was just going back home, and so because she lives there and she's like, oh well, I'm headed back home anyway. That's a long flight to go to that shitty ass All-Star game and put yourself through that. I hope it was just, well, I'm going home, and so this is on my way home. I might as well go to the game. I've already been invited. I've already got, the media pass or the player pass, whatever type of pass that she has. Because to fly all the way back just for that, I would have murdered somebody.
Could have been part of the deal too, that she'd go to the game, or maybe she just wanted to be there.
I think she just wanted to be there. Like, I do think there was part of her that just wanted to be here. I don't think it was any part of like a deal of like, hey, you're playing in the celebrity game, you have to attend the All-Star game. Like, people got plans and stuff. Like, what if WWE had an event on Sunday that she needed to be part of? She would have been part of that. So I think it was just she wanted to be there, and yeah, I just hope she was like headed home and she didn't decide, oh, I want to go so bad, I need to be part of this so bad that like I'm gonna take a cross country flight to be part of this. Like, I'm sure she had a fun experience regardless, but I feel like as a fan, like watching it probably wasn't that fun if you're there to see basketball and you got like 30 minutes of basketball and then Kevin Hart routines the rest of the time. That just doesn't seem fun to me, but hopefully she had a good time.
Kevin Hart loves The Rock. Rock loves wrestling. Kevin Hart loves wrestling a little bit too. So, maybe that was why she went. She loves Kevin Hart. Sorry. I like Kevin Knight. He's pretty great. They're in Charlotte tonight for Raw. That's not close. I don't think Bayley's going to be there. They got enough going on tonight. So I don't think you need to worry about where Bayley is.
She's part of Raw, though, right? Didn't she move in the transfer window?
Raw, yeah. She is considered a Raw superstar.
Yeah, so technically, she could be there. That would really suck if she went from LA or from Oakland, which is LA. I don't know, California. Sorry, Oakland to DC to Oakland to Charlotte. That would really suck. That's why I'm like, I don't feel like she's part of Raw, and I feel like she just went home and wanted to attend. Because if she did all of that just to attend that shitty game, that would suck.
Yeah, I feel bad for her. Hey, by the way, shout out to Joey Janela. We hope he's doing well. He had posted that after the J Cup, he had went to the hospital. He's waiting to see if he's going to have surgery or not on his bicep. Said that there's not only do I have a ruptured bicep, but also nerve damage to the arm that's affecting the arm all the way down to the hand. He had no feeling in his ring and pinky finger, so he's looking at options. But it seems major surgery is imminent in the morning. That's what he said last night. He posted a picture of himself in a hospital gown, so I don't know what's going on there, but we wish him the best, and hopefully he's okay, man, because he told us he was injured and working hurt, but he wanted to do as much as he could going into WrestleMania weekend so that he could just work the weekend and then focus on a full repair of his bicep. Wish him well.
Yeah, he said he was going to work through Mania weekend before getting surgery because he wanted to do Sabu's last match. And it seemed like a choice at the time, but bless Joey Janela for going through with that. And sadly, it looks like it might not have worked out for him. I hope he can at least come back to do the Sabu match at the very least, because I know he was looking forward to that. And I don't know if Sabu is going to do it if it's not Janela either. So guess we'll see in 2 months come Mania weekend.
We will. Yeah, he said on Twitter 5 minutes ago, going to live off greasy fast food and Percocets for the next few days, it seems. That sounds like potential surgery for me, but we'll see. We wish the bad boy the best, because he did not have to sit in a car for an hour with us the other day and just chat, but he did, and he's a lot of fun. So good for him. Hopefully he gets what he needs fixed up, and he's back as soon as he's able to. The ITW jinx. Oh dear.
Oh, no.
He was already hurt.
No, Masha won the J Cup and she appeared on the show, so we can't get full jinx there.
It's true. That's very true.
Alec Price went to the final. He was on Spotlight, so there's that too.
Oh, that's true. Alec Price did get all the way to the final, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, good for him. You know what? I was just really quickly on the J Cup. From what I saw, there was some really good stuff, and Masha winning was both a surprise and not a surprise, just because the J Cup gets the title, right? That's part of the winner of the J Cup has the cup and also the championship. She was already the JCW champion. It made sense, but also she's been that JCW champion for a while. But good on Masha. She's one of one. She's amazing.
And she won the title last year in the J Cup.
Yeah.
And she defended the title in every match, which they did last year as well. So Jensen and I both thought she would make the finals because that felt like the time to beat her. And she did not get beat. So she will continue as the champion.
Can't beat the Knockouts champion. You're not allowed. It's in her TNA contract, brother. Can't beat the Knockouts champion.
Yeah.
And before we dive in, we talked about Miro last week, and you had said that we haven't really seen much of Miro since the last time he was on AEW television. Well, Qatar Pro Wrestling did announce that he is going to be a part of Super Slam 3. And what's even stranger is that on their Instagram, there's a TNA logo underneath. And I'm wondering what that's about.
It's about TNA's probably doing a partnership with them. So, because they got a lot of TNA talent on here.
It's the reason why why Nick Nemeth's not going to be on TV for the next 4 weeks in TNA.
Yeah. I think it's more that than anything. I wouldn't read too much into Miro being part of TNA.
Oh, it's going to happen. I'm just like, okay. I'm looking around, but Ali. Okay, never mind. There's another one here that has a TNA logo.
I think it's more of just TNA is. I don't know how. I don't want to say helping out with the show because I don't know if that's the case, but I think it's just a good faith thing because TNA's they're using a lot of TNA talent. Like AEW should have done with the PWA logo all over the ring as a good faith for letting them use their ring.
Perfect. And how big is the ring, Jeremy?
I don't know. I did not notice this at all. I do not care. I don't.
You know what? Here's you know what? We'll talk about. We'll start with Collision this week because a lot went on both shows. But
there was no Collision. Grand
Slam Australia, Grand Slam Collision Australia, whatever you call it. It's all the same. It was a 2-hour show on a Saturday night, depending on where you watched and when. So my problem wasn't the size of the ring; it's that it wasn't 6-sided. What are we doing here? You want to be different? You want to differentiate yourself from the rest of the North American wrestling scene? Get a 6-sided ring. Come on. Make your partners in AAA happy and get your 6-sided ring. What's wrong with you? That was the problem.
Okay.
Not the size of the ring, the sides of the ring.
It's not the size of the ring, it's the ring of the sides.
It's the sides that matter. Some people are very upset about, how big something is. I was more worried about the girth or the structural girthiness of the ring.
Okay. All right.
The ring was backwards because they were in Australia. That is true. Grace gets it. Henry saying Joel's problem with the show was that it was good and had too much wrestling. That is It was too good, and now we have nothing to talk about. So let's talk about SmackDown for 2 hours instead. No, let's get right into it.
I don't remember what happened on SmackDown.
I get it. I got a couple notes from SmackDown, but other than that, it was what it was. Yeah, no, Grand Slam Australia was a really fun show. It was really, really good stuff. Nothing shocking really happened except for maybe one, but we'll get into. But
I can't believe Harley Cameron did not win. The internet told me Harley Cameron should win and that it would be a huge missed opportunity if she lost.
People wrote think pieces and essays. They gave dissertations. There was a TED Talk in Harley's home country of Australia on the Gold Coast. It was on the beach at like 3 a.m. with a bunch of drunks, but it was still happening. Someone said, "Welcome to my TED Talk," and they all believed them. But no, Harley Cameron did not capture the TBS championship.
Missed opportunity. AEW is going to live to regret that Harley Cameron did not win. Watch the ratings now. Watch how they go down now.
I heard that Momo Watanabe only wanted to appear again on AEW programming if Harley won the match. So now, no more Momo. No more Momo.
You know... So I have a couple of nitpicks. I thought the show was fantastic. I have a couple of nitpicks. Sure. One is they did the Mercedes and Momo confrontation afterwards. You know, Mercedes is dancing with her belts in front of her. And Excalibur is just like, coming up later, we got Mariah May and Toni Storm, and we got the Brisbane brawl, and we got this. I was like, dude.
That's what he does, though.
We have either let the moment breathe or show, like, it was just, and this isn't fully Excalibur's fault because they put the little ads in the middle of the corner. Like, you got to pick a better time to do this ad read when you see Mercedes dancing in front of Momo and possibly setting up a future match. Like, you got to let that moment breathe, or you got to like reference it, because they reference Momo and they reference why she was there. She won the International Women's Cup at Wrestle Dynasty. She gets a title shot at any title she wants. Makes sense. She might go after Mercedes. So you got to like talk about that while she's, rubbing her titles in her face, or you got to let that moment breathe. Like, promote the show at a different time. Like, that was just, it was poor production there, and poor timing, and poor job by Excalibur for just doing the read at all. So that's one of my nitpicks. Otherwise, like, the match was great. Mercedes winning, I thought that was the correct choice. I'm sorry people are mad about that, but Mercedes winning was the right call.
It was the right call, and the match was exactly what it was and what it should have been. Harley looked good. Mercedes is the woman who has been wrestling a stronger game for the longest time. There was respect there. The match was well done. I liked Harley's gear. It was something completely different than what she's been wearing. It was definitely a new tone for Harley Cameron and her character. So why not go with it? They used the puppet. They stomped at the puppet, and now they'll never make the puppet that they could have made millions of dollars on. But that's not the point. I know people got upset about the puppet. No, the match was really solid. There was I like the callback to of all things, the roll up that got Harley her victory against Ty Valkyrie. Like, tried to use that as a big moment for a near fall. There was again some solid wrestling, and the finish was never in doubt. But at least both women tried things and made it look like a competitive match. And yeah, getting the win for Monet made perfect sense to me. Now she moves on, and who knows who she faces at Revolution. That's in a couple of weeks at this point.
Momo Watanabe.
You think it's Momo at Revolution? I mean, if you bring her in for this, yes, you could assume. But there's a part of me that thinks they might even hold off until Forbidden Door to do that, which is a while from now, but possibly where they do it.
Yeah, that seems like too far down the line. I think Momo is a nice little bridge between now and whatever they're setting up for Mercedes in the future, because Stat or Willow seem like the obvious choices to dethrone her, but Stat's dealing with Megan Bayne, and Willow, I guess, is dealing with Marina Shafir. So you're not going right to Mercedes and one of them at Revolution. At least I don't think so. So Momo's a nice like little match for Mercedes to have at Revolution that I'm sure Mercedes wants. Momo Watanabe seems like someone who Mercedes wants to wrestle. So yeah, I think they just do Momo and Mercedes at Revolution. Would have been nice if the announcers had mentioned that a little bit more during the competition.
Well, Momo was just there in Australia to catch a plane ride back to the States. That's all she was there for. They just put her in the front row just to make sure that she knew when to come backstage to get the flights. I could see them doing Mercedes and Momo Watanabe at Revolution. It makes sense because I don't think that the winner would be in doubt, but I think the match quality would absolutely be there because whenever Mercedes steps in the ring with Japanese talent, she is on it. She's great. So you do that, and then meanwhile, you can have a banger, hardcore-esque women's title match, because we'll talk about that in a minute with Toni Storm. The idea being, though, that this is the wrestling match, and then the other one is the grudge match, because they'll probably run back Toni versus Mariah. We might as well get there now. Toni Storm won the Women's World Championship in the main event. Her 4th World Championship in AEW, sets the record. There's going to be some people who feel that Toni winning for a 4th time kind of, quote, shows there's no one built in the division to go after her. And then there are some people who are going to believe that this story needed another Toni Storm victory to win the championship and kind of finish it off possibly at Revolution. I'm of the belief that if this is where they're going for Revolution, they finish with a roll-up, a package pin finish.
Small
you can
package.
run it. A small package. Well, that was the ring. This package was adequate, Jeremy. The finish was adequate enough that they can run it back at Revolution on the red carpet and do some sort of plunder match. But what do you think of Storm and, I was about to say Megan Bain. That's maybe down the line. Storm and Mariah May.
All right, real quickly. Tenaruza says there's only Shivani and McGinnis there. CE no. So apologies to Excalibur that it was not him stepping on the moment. It was apparently Shivani.
Can't believe you got to issue an apology right now.
I just did. I said apologies to Excalibur.
All right, fine. I hope somebody clips this and shows Excalibur, and then Excalibur retweets it and says apologize. Jeremy Lambert.
No, apologies to Excalibur. I just kind of assumed it was him. My memory clearly sucks on this stuff. Then Shivani getting layout. Somebody tell him to lay out. Production. Don't promote at that time. Like, let that moment sit for itself. It would have been fine. Especially on an edited show. You could have just not done that portion there. No, again, apologies to Excalibur. I'm sorry, Excalibur.
Don't say bad things about Tony Schiavone. He will block you on social media.
Yeah, that's true. As far as Toni Storm and Mariah May, I didn't think it was as good as their all-in match. I don't know if I expected it to be as good as their all-in match, because their all-in match was like really good. It was still a very good match. Toni winning, right call. I like the finish. People might be mad at the small package, but they'd been setting that up. That's what she used as Rocker Toni Storm, because she was just learning and getting back, trying to prove herself. And that was one of the first moves she ever learned. What was it? Snapmares and small packages. That's what they teach first day of wrestling school. I like that finish, and especially because they hit each other with everything before that. She hit the quick pile driver, the Storm Zero. She hit all the hip attacks. Mariah May hit a bunch of Maydays, and Mariah May hit the Storm Zero before that, was going for the other Mayday. So I like that the small package just kind of caught her off guard, and she got the pin off of that. It does set up for a rematch, which I do expect a rematch at Revolution. Yeah, you could probably do some type of no DQ stipulation in that, because you probably need it with these two. They need some big blow off match. You already got a cage match on this show. It feels like Moxley and Copeland might do some type of stip. Not sure, but I mean, Moxley's been wrestling in only street fights these past couple of matches. Copeland was obviously part of the street fight on Grand Slam. So you probably need, like, this feud started with blood as well. I don't know if you're going to do like a first blood match, but it started with blood. So maybe you go to a first blood stipulation with this, but I imagine you need some type of stipulation to really escalate the violence. A rip your tits off match would be very good. Just, I like that. I like that.
Tits out match. And they're calling it tits off, a tits out match. That'll get buyers. That'll get buys. That'll get people buying.
Yeah.
We're gonna have the first ever tits out match. Can we say that on Max? We can now. That'd be the best episode of Dynamite ever. The not the roll up, the small package victory. Some people are calling it a callback to when she was doing the Toni Storm stuff for the last few weeks. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, me. I just said that.
Yeah, the other people said it too. You don't matter.
All
yeah,
right.
You were there. Some Ken Bruno saying Mariah versus Toni Storm, first blood. Tony hits Mariah with the shoe. Easy as that.
First blood match works. Like a first blood match does work.
Yeah, SP3 is saying, Hollywood backlot brawl. The only way you do it is if you have Dustin as like part of it.
Well, Dustin. Well, real quickly, we'll give credit to SP3, but also Ken Bruno mentioned Hollywood backlot brawl as well. Dustin was the producer for. Oh no, he was the producer for Mercedes and Harley. Sorry, I knew he produced one of the women's matches. I misremembered. So yeah, Dustin is a producer. It's possible Dustin could produce that match. Hollywood backlot brawl would be fun. That'd be good.
It'd be fun, but again, it's like if you already have, could there be too many stipulations on this card? We don't know yet because as of right now, there's really just the cage match. Right? We don't know if Cope and Mox is going to become a stipulation match. Part of me doesn't think it should. We'll transition to that match in a couple of minutes, but my general feeling is that you should do something with Mariah and Toni just to kind of showcase the importance of this feud. It hasn't. This is the other problem, though. It hasn't been bloody intense, like fighting intense, since the All In, like since before the All In match with the shoe and getting bloodied up with the shoe. The rest of the story has been pretty much talking. And then they did the match, and the match was like intense, but it wasn't like someone has to bleed intense. So you could just run it back as a regular wrestling match and have some sort of. I don't think you need you don't necessarily need a stipulation. You could do last woman standing, but
you need a stipulation for these two.
But do you though? Because again, nobody.
I just said you do.
I understand that, but do you though is the question.
Yes.
No, you don't.
You do.
I don't necessarily think so because there was no cheating in the match on Saturday.
Joel, how did this feud start?
I understand how it started, but this particular match did not have any sort of like physical heat behind it. They did one beatdown segment between the two, and even then, Mariah left through the crowd. And that's when Luther came back and did the on Tony on Luther's shoulders.
They've done two singles matches. Done two singles matches. A third singles match is like, okay, this feud started because Mariah won the Owen and then bloodied Toni Storm with her own shoe. There's been blood involved multiple times.
Yes, but my point is this part of the feud has been more of a mind game than it has been a physical game. This one hasn't been.
But you don't just erase the physical aspect of the feud.
Well, then they have to do 2 weeks of heating it up to the point where you get that physical feud, because as of right now, if they announce the match this Wednesday on Dynamite and they say one last time, then nothing intense has happened to get it to that point in this chapter. Where they are now, since Toni came back, did the mind games thing, and then became Toni Storm, nothing has been. Yeah, like Ken's saying, all it takes is one angle. And that's what I'm saying is, if you get there, then I see it. But right now, the way it stands, it's just a one-on-one match if you call it today.
All it takes is Mariah May hitting Toni Storm once with the shoe and getting her bloody. That's all it takes. That's all you need. And you immediately, you get into a first blood, no DQ, whatever it might be. You get there. This has more, to me, like physical heat than Kyle Fletcher and Will Osprey. Will Osprey and Kyle Fletcher had physical heat from their match when they got busted open at World's End. But otherwise, they've just been doing kind of paint by numbers beatdowns and everything with Don Callis family. Now, a cage match still makes sense because, I want to keep the Don Callis family out of the ring and everything. But Osprey issued the challenge when Osprey won the last match between them. So I understand Osprey's point of, keep Don Callis family out. But this feud has more physical heat than that feud, to me anyway, because we've seen Osprey and Fletcher in the matches with the physicality and bloodied up. Mariah and Toni have done more outside of the matches. I get it may have been heading into All In, but that shows the length and the importance of this feud too.
Yes. So here's the thing is you and I are going to agree on the entirety of the feud and the intensity of it. Again, where I step into it is after All In, there was no feud, right? Toni was gone. She was nowhere to be found. Mariah May ran roughshod as the champion. Then Toni came back, and the way that they started it was purely psychological. So again, just going back to the point that was made earlier is if they're going to do it again, yes, it makes sense, but you also have to remind people that this was an intense feud before Toni's return, and then have some sort of angle that gets us to an intense, whatever the blow off match is. Just do 2 steel cage matches in one night. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's cool. Just do it.
Make the whole show a steel cage match.
Revolution Lockdown. Here we go. We're in LA. Let's do it.
What if we built the whole show out of a steel cage?
There's no ring, just a steel cage. We didn't get the ring back from Australia in time, so it's a no rules, no ropes death match show. Crypto Arena's like, we didn't sign up for this. Mercedes is just like, yeah, let's do this shit. Moxley's like salivating at the idea. Oh, we can do this. Let me go tell Renee. But again, if they do something on Wednesday to bring this all back and give you a reason for some sort of intense, blow off match, then I'm all about it. Do not get me wrong. But like I said, if they announce it today, this is the match. You got to show me why I should care in this chapter specifically, because it's been a few months since we've thought about what happened at All In and, the scuttlebutt since then.
Okay. I think they can announce a no DQ match tonight. I know they won't. Just on Raw. Toni Storm shows up on Raw. It's like, Mariah May, I challenge you to a no DQ match at AEW Revolution. And everybody's like, who is this person? Did she have like pie on her face last time we saw her? What is happening?
She should come out with the pie on her face.
Yeah.
Just continuity's sake. And then Triple H would be like, we love working with our partners, all of them, and you're looking forward to AEW Revolution. The multiverse of madness.
They could announce this match tonight, and I understand why they go no DQ to escalate it. Because I do have faith that they will escalate it in the coming weeks too, with some big attack and beatdown. So I've got faith in this feud. The one thing I complained about, I don't think it was a complaint, I broke down as the segment. They proved me wrong and proved like, yeah, this is why we did this. Like, all right, good on you. Like you followed up strongly after she came back as Timeless. So I have faith in this feud. RJ City's never let me down.
He's let me down. He's made me wait 30 minutes for an interview. He let me down that day.
Yeah.
Great interview though. It's mostly just him talking for the sake of talking, which very well might be the most RJ City interview you can ever do.
Yeah.
Anyway, the show opened up. Kenny Omega and Kenny Omega and Will Osprey took on Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita. I could get it. I had Kenny and Takeshita for the international championship after the whole rundown. That was in my notes for the post Grand Slam Australia run to Revolution. That's why I said what I said. Anyway, Kenny's team wins, and that was what. First of all, excellent match. Do not get me wrong. We talked about who out of all the Aussies would win on this show, and I think we kind of got to the point where originally, if it was going to be Toni Storm as Rocker Toni Storm, it was going to be Kyle Fletcher's the only one to get a win. Well, it turned out it was going to be Tony's the only Australian winner on the card. Kenny and Will Osprey get the win, and that's just to motivate that we're going to do. Kenny gets an international championship spot at Revolution, and then you're doing the steel cage match that you mentioned between Osprey and Fletcher. Very, very happy with this. The finish was fantastic. Loved that hidden blade, one-win angel, second rope finish. The combo ruled. These two teaming up together and being friendly, it ended up working quite well. How he got there sometimes wasn't so fantastic, but for the way that they did, well, it was really that one segment that they did in Knoxville where it was like, well, no, we're not friends. No, we can't be friends. Beatdown segment. Okay, no, we're going to be friends. That part was like a little whatever. But then they they picked it up. We knew it was going to be fantastic in terms of the wrestling acumen between the 4 guys. But this was a fantastic match, good opener. Everything that you and I said about it, being a hot open and a good match and leading to Revolution, it happened. Your thoughts?
All right, let me get my criticism out of the way.
Much like that's right. You
Mercedes. It has nothing to do. Here's the thing: it has nothing to do with the match, because the match, I don't have any criticism.
It's always presentation. I get it. It's always production presentation. That's what I do all the time. TNA gets the same. They get the same thing.
This isn't even a production criticism.
Tear it apart, Jeremy Lambert. Tear it apart. You hated everything about this.
This is a booking criticism.
Oh, can't believe it.
What in the fuck is this International Championship Series? Why is this necessary?
Yeah, no, that is stupid.
Kenny Omega issues the challenge and is like, I want to face Takeshita at Revolution, which makes sense because they won the tag team match. They pinned Takeshita. It makes sense that Kenny Omega and Takesha's beaten him. He beat him at All Out. And granted, I know this is 2023, but Omega missed all of 24. He beat him at All Out. He pinned him at All In, I believe. So it makes sense to do Kenny and Takesha. You had it. It was right there. No one's going to question why you're doing Kenny and Takesha at Revolution. People are like, yeah, that's a feud that makes a ton of sense. So why the hell are we doing Roderick Strong and Orange Cassidy? And then the winner faces Takesha on Dynamite before Revolution. And the winner of that faces Kenny. Kenny just gets a free pass to Revolution, which is fine. He should get this title match. It makes sense. But why are we doing this championship series to face Kenny, who's not the champion? It doesn't make... It's so dumb. It's so unnecessary. It's like, what are we doing?
So the way that they tried to make sense of it was last year, the Revolution match was Roddy versus Orange Cassidy for the International Championship, right? And Roddy won that match. So now they're going to run back Orange versus Roddy. Whoever wins that's going to take on Takeshita. Takeshita hasn't put up the International Championship on AEW in several weeks, if not months. So this is an opportunity for AEW to at least say, hey, he had a title defense recently and he won, and now he does the Kenny match. So like, I'm explaining the logic behind it. I'm not saying I agree with it or not. I'm just saying that is the internal logic. And then Kenny is Kenny. He's going to be treated like he gets whatever he wants because he is the big star and he's being finally presented as such now that he's back.
So my counter to that is have Don Callis and Takeshita, instead of announcing this championship series, have them do Roddy and Orange Cassidy on Wednesday. Don't call it anything. Just be like, hey, here's a match. People are going to complain beforehand of like, what's the point of this match? Oh, blah, blah, blah. Let it play out, folks. Do the match. Saturday on Collision, Don Callis comes out. It's like, Kenny, you want your shot at Revolution? Fine. You can have your shot at Revolution. Takeshita wants to face you as well. Takeshita also wants to make an example out of somebody. He wants to maim somebody before he faces you at Revolution. He's pissed off that he lost this tag team match. He feels mistreated. He feels like an afterthought in this. So a Wednesday on Dynamite, you saw him, let's say Orange Cassidy for argument's sake wins. You saw him beat former international champion Roderick Strong Wednesday. Orange Cassidy, you're the greatest international champion of all time. Takeshi's going to kill you on Wednesday. And that's how you set up Orange Cassidy and Takeshita. You don't need to announce this dumb international championship series. I gave you the exact layout that they could be doing, but in story format that makes sense. Praise me. I am better than you.
No, I thought that was MJF.
Sure. But look, does that make it makes just as much sense to do it like that? And then you have a story reason for all these matches instead of making it just seem like, hey, we're doing this match to get to this match to get to this match. It's like, why? What's the point of all of that?
It does feel awkward. Ken's pointing out the trials of Kenny Omega. That's the one thing I didn't want to see is, Don Callis being like, oh, if you want to get to Konosuke Takeshita, you got to beat every member of the Don Callis family. Like we've done that so many freaking
He's already
times.
Beaten Brian Cage. We don't need to do all that.
Yeah, we don't need to continue that. But no, there was definitely a better way to do this. You could have done, you know what? I agree with what you're saying, and the layout would work, and it would have been fine. It was just when they announced this, I was like, this feels like a lot of extra steps to get to somewhere you already knew you were going. And if this is their way of putting Konosuke Takeshita on Dynamite with a title defense, then like, okay, but also you could have just had him defend the international championship on Dynamite going into this. Felt very strange. Either way.
It feels like an unnecessary tournament of just, we're going to do this tournament to face Kenny Omega, even though Kenny Omega is not the champion. Like, we're getting Omega and Takeshita, and people are fine with that. No one's going to sit here and be like, well, what has Kenny Omega done? Like, no, he's there. Now it feels like Takeshita has to earn his way to face Kenny Omega. And I don't feel that should be the layout of this.
And it feels like what they're trying to accomplish here is making Takeshita look like a strong champion going into Revolution, when realistically, like he has been, he just hasn't been presented as such on AEW programming. He has been in other companies where he's been defending the title. But right now, it feels like they're trying to get you to think that, oh, he had a really competitive match against Orange Cassidy, Roddy Strong, whoever, and it was a great match, a standout match, and now Kenny's going to beat him for the international championship, and Takeshita won't look as bad because people are not going to look at and be like, huh, what matches did Takeshita really have as international champion? Now they have one that you can point towards, because this is my next thought. I think, again, talking about Forbidden Door earlier, I think there's a good chance that Takeshita goes for the New Japan for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship at Forbidden Door. Possibly even wins it. He's under contract to New Japan and AEW and like 7 other places. But I think there might be an interest in doing something like that. And that's a good match. Don't know who the champion would be at that point. If it's still sorry. I had to cough. If it's still Hiroki Goto, thank you. Then I could see Takeshita and Goto having a good match where Takeshita gets the win. Could be as easy as that.
No. The tag team match was good, SP3.
It was good. I think about this all the time. Words to me are important. I feel like it's you got to use them. When things are amazing, you tell them they're amazing. When things are good, they're good. When things are fantastic, they're fantastic. I thought this match was really strong. I thought it was good. Some people are going to say it was amazing. That's fine. Use it as you will.
It was no Mac McClung, that's for sure.
That's right. There was no one jumped over a car. Like, what are we doing?
I deserve more credit for I deserve more credit for a lot of things, but I did say that Mac McClung was going to bring out a Kia, and he did.
You did.
And so I was proven correct, as I am with most of these things.
By the way, for anyone asking about the ringside, yeah, we did that at the top of the show. It was we don't care as much as anyone else cares. So we just made our jokes and moved on. I'm looking forward to doing Fletcher and Osprey in the cage. Did you expect that to be the call? Because you and I sat here on Friday, and you were of the belief that they might just flip the opponents and do Takeshita versus Osprey and do Fletcher versus Omega. I was pretty steadfast that it would be the other way around, which is what we're getting.
It was cowardly that they went this direction.
No. SP3, we hate wrestling. We're hate wrestling snobs. It's different.
Here's a hot take for you, SP3. Fraxium against Inamura and Briggs was better than Omega and Osprey against Takeshita and Fletcher, and they did it in half the time.
Wow.
There's my hot take.
I'm just waiting on, I said it earlier. It's going to be Tyreek and Tyson are going to beat Fraxium. It's going to be a beat-down ass victory. They're going to take those NXT tag titles. And y'all are going to be like, who are these two? And I'll be like, watch TNA, watch the product. And I get to sit there and stroke my tongue and cluck my beard and say I did it. I know it's the other way around, but it's funnier when I say it that way. That's cap. That means lie. AJ Styles in the chat. Thank you.
Why'd your AJ Styles? You went way too country for that AJ Styles.
AJ Styles, very country man.
Yeah, but that was like a caricature. I can't say that word.
It's caricature.
Yeah, that word. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing about Americans. Y'all sound.
I could have said it with a straight face if Joel didn't step on my hot take by interrupting me.
It's still not Tuesday. Save your hot take for Tuesday. We need to argue and yell at each other. That's right. I've seen Tuesday show. Got to start it like 20 minutes later because I got to listen to a Laker podcast first. But you know. We were talking about Fletcher and Osprey in the cage, and you say they were cowardly for not doing the other way, doing your idea.
Yes, it was cowardly.
That's the only thing you have to add about those matches being announced for Revolution.
Yeah, just
all right,
cowardly. That's
okay.
all.
Great. That's fine by me. Tenruzza sent a couple more super chats saying, damn, us Aussies were great. Metalingus was insane. So let's talk about this. The Brisbane brawl. Cope, Jay White, they fall to really all the Death Riders. Let's face it. There was no Mox and Claudio. It was everyone. My favorite part was Cope coming out. Not the singing. The singing was nice, emotional moment. But he does the thing at the ring, this thing. And did you see what he does? Looks around and just yells, "No pyro!" and then just walks to the ring.
Oh, I thought he did this thing. On this day, I see clearly. Like that. That would have been much better.
Cora Cope over here. No, that was not it. But now he just yelled, "No pyro!" and he gets into the ring. The only people who got pyro, I think, were Buddy Matthews with the fire and Kenny Omega. I think that's it. Wow, they don't like
pay attention to the pyro. I don't care.
The only reason I paid attention is because I saw Cope yell "No pyro," and then I was like, who else got it? I was like, did Kenny get it? I thought maybe it was a venue thing, and then I saw Kenny's. I was like, oh no, they have Kenny's, and then I saw Buddy. I was like, all right, sure, but it was a fun moment.
You could tell me Cope does or does not get pyro, and I would not know. He gets the smoke. I know that, I think, but like I don't know if he gets pyro traditionally or not.
I know WWE did the smoke. I don't know if he does that in AEW or not.
Nah.
Anyway, point is he lost the match. He specifically, Cope, lost the match, got choked out by the guy he's challenging in 2 weeks at Revolution. That was my other nitpick, where I was like, feels a little backwards, and I'm hoping that it leads to something. I know you're getting there, but Sean Plish is saying, why in the world is Copeland getting choked out before a title match? By the way, shout out to Sean. I see you on PW Torch quite often, so thanks for popping in. Why is Copeland getting choked out before a world title match? Granted, it took 3 other people to take him out, but come on.
Because he is not the one to save AEW. He is trying to ruin AEW just as much as they think Jon Moxley is. This man's beating this briefcase with a spiked bat that holds the AEW world title. He's not the AEW savior. He's not going to save AEW, and he's not going to win the world title. And that's why he lost rightfully at Grand Slam. He's out of the match. They're going to take him out of the match. He's going to be a big old dork, and he's going to be like, you know what? I was bested by Jon Moxley and the Death Riders. Jay White, this is your spot. This is your spot, Jay. You go and you win this AEW world title. That's why.
He should just give it to Harley Cameron. Harley, you didn't do it, but you can do it again. And she comes out. Now she's got a Mox puppet. She's got a Mox puppet and she's got a Marina puppet, and they just play off of each other. 2 weeks of build, you'll get there for a main event match. It's great. Ken Bruno saying Copeland getting choked out because he's going to lose to Mox. Then Christian beats Copeland. The internet explodes. You see, there's definitely a part of that. Absolutely. I'm so curious as to why they made that decision, and I'm sure there's going to be something that gives us a stipulation for Revolution, because you got to find a way for Cope to be like, I don't want the Death Riders involved, or whatever it is, a lumberjack or a wall of death, where like a whole, I don't know. I'm just throwing out random ideas that would keep him out without doing another steel cage match. I want Hell in a Cell, and Tony's like, whoa, we can't do that. I don't know what it is, but something's got to happen.
I think they're gonna do like a Texas death match, honestly.
But
I think they're gonna do some type of, okay, fine, an LA death match. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems a little too targeted.
I think they're gonna do something like that. Copeland's gonna do like, I choked out, I passed out. You're gonna have to kill me to beat me at Revolution, and so you do some type of dumb death match. Like legitimately, I think that's how it's gonna go, and we'll see.
I'm trying to think of what would work. Now, Anarchy in the Arena doesn't work for a one-on-one match. That's traditionally a 4 or 5-on-5 match.
Could be fun.
But it's more of a the whole idea of Anarchy is that there's so much happening throughout the arena that you can't focus on one thing. If it's just two guys, then it's not Anarchy. It's just a walk and brawl. It feels like there might be some walk and brawl elements to whatever they do. It could just be a street fight. Could just be easy as that. But then Cope needs friends, and Jay White, maybe the Guns, maybe FTR if they figure out what they want.
What do you mean maybe FTR? Are they just no longer friends?
Well, remember, they came out and they're just like, oh, Death Riders, we actually like what you're doing. We just don't like that you're messing with our pal Cope. They don't know. They also want the tag titles in the same breath. So like they need to sit down, have a serious conversation about what they want. Do they want the tag titles? Do they want to go after the Death Riders, who they love and have tons of respect for? Do they want to go after their pal Copeland or defend their pal Copeland? What do they want to do? It's all in their hands, and they don't know what to do.
They should all. I like this idea, by the way, of like an intervention with Cope, and then he's got like Private Party, and he's got the Death Rider, or not the Death Riders. He got Private Party. He's got FTR. He's got Daniel Garcia. He's got the Outrunners. He's got the Dark Order. He's got Action Andretti and Leo Rush and all these guys. He's like, what do we want, guys? What page are we on here? Are we stopping the Death Riders? Or are we doing our own thing? And then Rock and Roll Express are there as well. It's just a family meeting, and they get all on the same page. And then you do a lumberjack match.
See, we're back to a lumberjack match. We did it. I'm curious for Wednesday. They gotta do something to make this match at least heated up going into Revolution. If they do, honestly, I see people in the chat saying like the AEW run's not really working for them. If they turn it to Christian and they start working on that as a tag team,
I think that's. I don't think it's gonna be a tag team.
Well, that's the thing. I don't want it. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I don't want it to turn into a world championship feud.
Well,
I know that's the problem. You can't cannibalize your main event this way. You just you shouldn't, and be like, well, we also have Kenny Omega, the soon-to-be international champion, and we also have these tag team champions. We got to do something. We got to do something because I don't know if this is it. And also, I don't know if this match with Cope and Mox should even be the main event at this point. Because again, we don't know what the other matches are going to be that could overthrow it right now. Maybe the Kenny match, if they heat it up to that point. I don't think they will. Maybe Mariah and Toni 3, if that's the route that they go for LA. That could be it. Again, they have to find a way to make it undeniably.
Mox and Cope is going to be the main event.
It is. It's just what comes from it. It's Darby Allin. He's
Christian Cage winning the championship. So this is where I'm at. I'm with Ken. I think Cope's gonna win, and I think Christian's gonna cash in. That's where I think it's going. Yeah,
they're just gonna open Dynamite with a huge brawl again. It's gonna be that's the new calling card. Is a big brawl. The Nitro Brawl '97. Anyway, and in other news, Okada is my favorite wrestler. He is the smartest wrestler once again. The dick kicking champion of the world. Buddy Matthews, though, seen on crutches. PW Insider is reporting that he did hurt his ankle. To what extent, we don't know, but hopefully not so much that he'll be away from the ring for too long. The match between Buddy and Okada was really solid stuff. Again, the finish was never in doubt. Dick kick, 1, 2, 3. That's all you need. Okada is the best wrestler in the world, baby.
That is good. I do like that. Okada was like, fuck this wrestling stuff. She's gonna kick you in the dick and beat you. Smart man. The smartest. Everyone's all like, I want G1 Okada. I want I'm just like, no, just keep kicking dicks and getting wins. That's how you get to the pay window. That's how it works. Soon Okada is going to be faced with a hardcore Continental Championship match, and then he's going to kick someone in the dick, and they're going to be like, and then the other person will kick him in the dick, and they'll win the match. Rochambeau match. I'm still waiting for that in wrestling. Buddy, though, my favorite two things. He comes out with the Matthews Australia jacket, just like Rhea Ripley. Of course, those two are together. They are married. So they're doing. Rhea Ripley did the Elimination Chamber 23 jacket with Ripley and the Aussie flag. That's what Buddy Matthews did, the similar flag, but with Matthews. And finally,
My favorite part of the match is when he hits Murphy's Law, and then they have to announce it as Matthew's Law. He had one announcer. It was Shivani. He was like, "It's Murphy's Law," and then you had Nigel just be like, "Oh, it's Matthew's Law." Talk about it. What's the finish? What's the finish, kid? Fine match between these two. Do you run it back, or is this it for?
Why are you running it back? He lost, and now Matthews might be hurt. I'll run it back. Okada's hold that title until All In, and then maybe they unify the titles. I don't want Okada wrestling because I'm tired of with the G1 Okada. That's the guy I want a ring. I'd have Okada just go out there and like face whoever and dick kick him in 2 seconds and pin him. Forget all this wrestling nonsense he's been doing. Just dick kick him and pin him.
This is it. You know, Derek in the chat saying from a pure optics perspective, Dad bod Okada looked pathetic compared to the jacked and explosive Matthews. Well, anyone can get kicked in the dick and lose a match, so it doesn't matter what your size is. Anyone can get kicked in the dick on any given day. Difference is Okada knows that every day is a dick kicking day.
Yeah.
On this day, I see dick kicks. Everything is called to life. Tenor is such a super chat saying, can't wait for them to come to Melbourne. ROH was fun. Well, they are going to come back in 2026, according to not only Tony Khan, but also their ticketing partner. So you can expect AEW in Australia 2026. As to where, well, they'll be announcing that eventually, but you can get on the pre list. What's it called? The pre-sale list?
Yeah.
You get to know first. Just looking at King Potato. On this day, I pee clearly.
Pee and blood, you get kicked in the dick too much.
That is true. You do not want to hurt your prostate to that degree.
Yeah.
That's very big problem in the wrestling world. Vengeance Day, real quick. There wasn't much to talk about. The big notes were the 4 guys showed up twice, beat up people, and they're going to go after the Tag and World Championship or NXT Championship. So there's that. They announced Deion Lennox is one of them, and then the other 3 guys they'll have to give a rub to on Tuesday, I assume, when Deion Lennox.
They gave all their names, didn't they?
Did they? I definitely heard them say Deion Lennox is definitely one of them, and I don't think they said the other names of the guys. I think the internet told us who they were, and we talked about who they were, but on the broadcast, I don't think they said the other guys.
I don't think they said Osiris Griffin or Sakan Sugars. I feel like they said Cutler James. I'm going to re-listen to it right now. Phil Samar Joel.
Sure. Well, while they did that, you had Obafemi defeating Down Under, which I know was Jeremy's favorite match. The match itself, they were all fine. Zeno, I was saying Vic said their names. People call him the Timu Shield. They said Cutler's name. I don't think they said all of them. The 4 guys were exactly what we talked about. Those 4 guys were there to be a new group of guys to take out talent in NXT, make a splash. The developmental. They were there to start something and be unknown and build from there. The Shield were unknown when they started, so it's just the same. I know people call them Timu Shield, but like the idea here was that they're just a heavy group being led by Deion Lennox, who said to Obafemi at one point, I'm going to get a shot at this title. And Obafemi laughed in his face, and then Deion Lennox kept losing and getting made fun of. So the guy getting bullied decided to get a group together and bully the bullies. That's really what it felt like. And for that, I'm fine with it. This doesn't need to be super duper stars that you've heard of and you followed your whole career. No, these are just 4 guys who look imposing, taking out talent and being bad guys. That's what this whole thing is in NXT. But I liked it. It was good.
They did say Cutler James's name. That was the only 2 that
on TV.
Yeah, those were the only 2 that were identified. Was Deion and Cutler. They didn't say Saquon or Osiris. Then Vic Joseph was like, we don't know who they are. We don't know why they're here. Feels like he was, as the crowd was chanting, who are you? Feels like Vic Joseph was told, yeah, don't say we don't know who they are. That doesn't seem great right now. That guy's going to get his name on Tuesday. So maybe just don't say you don't know who they are, why they're here. The aforementioned Ricardo Starks. Tenriza saying, I'm a heel to Jeremy because G1 Okada is king. A lot of people like G1 Okada. Jeremy and I just like dick kicking Okada the best.
Man works smarter, not harder.
G1 Okada is great. I'm tired of every feud he's in being, I want to face G1 Okada. You're not getting that guy. Prepare for dick kicking Okada. This is where Okada is the smartest wrestler in the world. He's like, I've tricked him into thinking I'm going to be G1 Okada. Nope. I kick you in the dick and pin you.
That's how it goes. A-Town Down Under might be done. What do you think of that? Huh? I know you're excited for the big turn that didn't, but may have.
Just get Grayson Waller away from him. Just push Grayson Waller, make him a singles guy, make him great, and get Austin Theory away from him. I hate Grayson's finish. That stupid roll-in stunner. Yeah. It looks so awful. He looked dumb in this match because I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, Oba's about to powerbomb this man. Let him do the powerbomb and then push him out of the ring and then pin Theory like any other smart heel would do. Instead, he tries to do his dumb roll-in stunner and he hits Theory and then gets pinned. Like, oh God, I hate that move.
Wasn't a 15-minute match. SPD.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of I'm not a big fan of the Moneymaker either. That always looks a little clunky, but the match was fun.
Yeah. Elsewhere on the card, really the big news was Stephanie Vaquer capturing the North American Women's Championship. Not really a shock to anybody, but again, a good match between those two. Fallon Henley was champion for long enough, and now it's time to go with Vaquer, who then came out at the very end of the night after the women's 4-way main event of the show. Julia retained her title over Bayley, Cora Jade, and Roxanne Perez. Match was very good. There were a lot of really good moments in that 4-way, and of course in the North American Women's Championship match. But the biggest news of the night, which shouldn't be that big, but Jordynne Grace came out and stood up to the two women, to Julia and Stephanie Vaquer. That's your new big three in NXT. Pretty cool.
Yeah. It was a good moment at the end. Jordynne Grace coming in there, and now Thea Hale can return and stack all three of these women and take all the titles.
Let's go. I'm here for it. That's what I've built this entire show for, that moment. If Thea Hale is ever in the main event of an NXT PLE and it looks like she's going to win, you and I, buddy, we're going to make so many plays to do that pre-show. We're going to be co-opted so hard to do that pre-show. We're going to be all about it. Instead of the big three, it's just Big T. The T stands for Thea.
Thea Hale should have come out when Vaquer and Julia were posing and stuff. And like, 3 goats left and 2 of them hugging and kissing on stage.
Let them. Jordynne's going to be on main roster soon enough. This feels like just a quick little WrestleMania detour. She wasn't factored into the plan, so just have her down in NXT. Give her a standout match at Stand and Deliver, and that's that. If she does a few months in NXT, I don't think anyone's going to be really that upset. There's plenty of time for her on main roster. She's got a 5-year deal, so you got plenty of time to work with her. Anything else from Vengeance Day worth pointing out, other than the fact that it ruled that show started at 6 p.m. Eastern and finished by 8:30? Let's go.
It was so nice, and then I was like, God, now I got to watch NBA All-Star nonsense and wait for Grand Slam to start. That part sucked, but yeah, I like these early starts. And I'm all for, like, long wrestling shows are fine. I'm happy when they're not, but you want to do a 4-hour show, fine. Start at 6. That's what they did. They started the show at 6. Had this gone to 10, I would have been perfectly fine with that. Probably would have felt very long, but 2.5 hours. Oh, so nice. So nice. Javon Evans and Trick Williams losing. Choices. Evans, I expected.
Yeah.
Trick, a choice.
You know what got me? It's the fact that they did those two back to back. That's what got me, because the shock finish to Eddie Thorpe getting the victory on Trick, that, like, the room, if you listen to the 3 count, like, you could hear they go 1, 2, and then they got the 3, and they were like, oh, it was a moment. And then the next match with Javon, he was so close to winning in that match, and then suddenly Ethan Page turned it around, did the punch, knocked out the mouth guard, and then hit the twisted grin, as he's calling it. And and that's what he's calling it. And he got the win.
Sweet name, honestly.
It's not too bad actually, and it's just a twist of fate. We call it twist of fate. Anyway, it was the shock of both matches back to back having that kind of result. Trick losing, that kind of opens up what is Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can heat up Trick quick enough for Stand and Deliver because I assume they'll do some number one contender match, but I don't know if that's the match now. I don't know if that's what it's going to be, because if it is, I wouldn't have Trick losing this match. I wouldn't have it. Like, maybe he's going to the main roster. Maybe that's the call after Stand and Deliver. Maybe he faces somebody else to Stand and Deliver. Maybe Ricky's the Stand and Deliver match. Maybe Ethan Page is the Stand and Deliver match against Oba. Maybe it's a multi-person match. We shall see. But if it was going to be Trick and Oba one-on-one, Trick losing this, not the best call in the world.
Yeah, we talked about the idea that it would be Trick beating Eddie Thorpe and then going on to face Ricky at Roadblock and beating Ricky and going on to Stand and Deliver, because traditionally your first big match in NXT as a new member of the roster, especially if you're a big time member, you lose. It happens. And then you build from there. Instead, it looks totally different. Ricky Starks, I don't think he should come in and immediately win either. I do think that there should be some sort of, MO from Ricky beyond I'm the best wrestler and I'm just going to win. There should be something in there. But Trick is Trick's in a weird place, and I'm sure that there's something in the plans for him. Just that unexpected victory for Eddie Thorpe has people thinking, what's going on?
Ricky and Oba, I'm also not sure you do that match first off the bat, because Ricky's I don't know if he's going to have to change his move set or anything, but his move set ain't exactly working against Oba. That spear, the Rochambeau, which is basically a running dominator, you ain't doing that shit against Oba. Like the spear, like, it works for him, but it worked for him in AEW against guys who are his size and maybe a little bit smaller. Oba's a big dude. Like, Ricky trying to hit that spear on Oba, I don't know how that looks. It feels like Oba just stand there and like eat that thing. And then the Rochambeau, I don't know if he can get Oba up for that. Like, maybe he can, but I think Ricky's got to get a couple of matches under his belt that aren't Oba to maybe develop a few things and see how he plays out in the ring, because it feels like he's gonna have to change a couple of things based on what we've seen him typically do in the past.
See, I wouldn't doubt Ricky going after the North American Championship first. Possibly winning it at Stand and Deliver. I don't know who the champion would be going into it. Tony D'Angelo is the North American champion right now. How much longer? We don't know. I keep mentioning Roadblock. Roadblock is a special Tuesday night NXT. It's just a regular episode of NXT, but it'll be built up with a bunch of different matches. And that's, that's kind of what I'm looking at, is what big matches there will shape the Stand and Deliver card, because that's the March special for NXT. Yeah, that was, I don't know if there's anything else that we really need to touch on when it comes to Vengeance Day. Again, good, tight matches, simple. It's NXT. There it is. Shall we hit a couple super chats?
Sure.
Just because Tenruza trying to bring us back to his AEW his AEW fandom. He's obsessed. Jeremy. Robbie Eagles was incredible. What Tenruza is incredible.
No, we like Tenruza.
We do like Tenruza. We appreciate him. Yeah. Robbie Eagles, the irony of the CM Punk fist while a big AEW fan is hilarious to me. Robbie Eagles was incredible. Big Bill was over. I look forward to watching the stuff from Ring of Honor that they taped in Australia for Global Wars. And he also sent a super chat saying Athena was great. Bandito chants as well. Great weekend. Friday indie shows in New Japan. Tamashi on Sunday. Effing roasting and humid, though, was a bit much. I mean, it's hot in that country right now. Hope you're staying nice and cool wherever you are, because it's cold here, and stay warm in Canada and in the United States. But yeah, over in Australia, I'm seeing it's like 40 degrees plus. And that's pretty nuts. Like nuts.
Glad you had a good time, Tenruza. Glad you had a good time.
Like Okada kicking in the dick. Nuts, right? Kicking dick kicks and stuff. Yeah. Nuts.
I got it.
Oh man. Someone's saying they're not booking Bandito well. He just came back. He's probably going to win the Ring of Honor World Championship. I thought it was going to be Powerhouse Hobbs. I don't know anymore, but they're doing Big Bill and Powerhouse Hobbs in a street fight. So that's going to be on Dynamite this week. I don't know. Maybe they'll do a 3-way: Hobbs, Bandito, and Jericho for the Ring of Honor World Championship. I don't know when, because they sure as shit don't have another Ring of Honor show planned for the next, few months at least. I don't know. Who wins the Ring of Honor title? I just think it's going to be Bandito at this point.
I think Chris Jericho is going to hold it for another 2 years.
Damn, let's go. Oh, this is
what's the longest reign? Joe's got the longest reign, right? He's going to break Joe's record.
Wow. Are you sure? Yeah. How long was that reign? 645 days.
Yeah. He's going to break it.
That's a lot.
Huh. Yeah. That's my prediction.
Okay. I mean, Athena's the longest any champion of all time. She's got 800 days plus.
He should go after Athena's reign. That'd be hilarious.
I mean, I'd be okay with that. That'd be very funny. Jericho versus Athena. That's the one. Jericho is a gentrifier. Good Lord.
This is my official prediction. Chris Jericho breaks Samoa Joe's record of 645 days as the ROH world champion. He's going to beat Samoa Joe too. Who else? What other former world champions are in AEW? So here we go. Let's run down the list. He can beat Joe.
Let's go.
Okay. He can beat Joe. He can beat Nigel McGuinness. He can beat Roosh. Bring old Bryan Danielson back. Beat Bryan. Jay Lethal. He can beat him. Claudio can beat him. Adam Cole can beat him. Jonathan Gresham. Bring him back just to take the loss. It's old Chris Jericho. He beats Mark Briscoe again. Eddie Kingston. Crutch his ass to the ring so he can lose. Dalton Castle. Roderick Strong. He should invade WWE and beat Cody.
I mean, you mentioned
Haven.
Roosh.
I mentioned Roosh. Don't cut me off, Joel.
You mentioned Roosh.
This is going well. I did mention Roosh.
No, you didn't.
Do we got to rewind the tape on Joel here?
I don't really care. Just keep doing it. Ring of Honor doesn't exist.
You cared enough to cut me off when I was in the middle of a very good short, and now I have to edit around all of this.
Oh no, you have to cut the 15 seconds of arguing right now.
What's next?
No, you were going over all the champions that he should beat for a short.
Yeah. What's next?
Is he gonna beat Davey Richards? No. Eddie Edwards, he should beat Eddie Edwards, yeah. Remember him, Edward Edwards? It's TNA. Should cross the line. There you go. Jerry Lynn, get him out of retirement. How about CM Punk? Yeah. Can he beat himself? John Cena is going to appear London, Brussels, and Glasgow for Raw on his farewell tour. Who's he going to beat there?
I don't know if he's going to beat anybody.
Why not?
I don't know if he's going to wrestle. Is he going to wrestle on all these shows?
Well, he's going to appear, so at least he's got that.
Well, this is after Elimination Chamber, right?
Allegedly.
Okay. So I assume he'll show up and build the WrestleMania match.
So what if he just comes to London and says, I want to beat the UK's finest? Who is the best UK wrestler in WWE?
Wade Barrett.
Pete Dunne? Is there anyone else in that roster that's currently in Nick Aldis? Why is he just fighting non-wrestlers? Who else could he beat in London? Well, in Belgium, he should just call out Gunther and he'll be like, I'm not from Brussels. He'll be like, close enough. And he should beat Gunter in Brussels.
Could face Nathan Frazier.
Nathan Frazier. Someone saying Ridge Holland. Yeah. Then Glasgow, down in Scotland. He can take on Drew McIntyre. Cena and Drew. I'm sure he'd love that. Drew McIntyre beats John Cena. Wins the whole show. That's the way it should be. Okay, I'm sorry I stepped on your short about Chris Jericho.
That's fine.
Well, clearly not, because now you're not even getting into the show. Now you're just stomping it.
I don't have anything to add to John Cena.
He's your favorite wrestler.
UK wrestlers.
He is your favorite wrestler, and you are just not engaging with it. Charlotte chooses Tiffany Stratton for the Women's Championship at WrestleMania. Wakes her up.
They're definitely babyfacing Tiffany out of all of this.
You bet.
That's the direction they're going. Tiffany and Trish at Elimination Chamber against Nia and Candice. You know, Tiffany will get a big reaction there just based on teaming with Trish. And then heel move by Charlotte to just come out while Tiffany was down and out to wake her up. So they've effectively turned Tiffany Stratton babyface for this feud.
That's kind of what I expected. Now they're gonna have Trish and Tiffy team up at Elimination Chamber. Kind of frustrating that the last time we saw Trish and Tiffy on screen together was at Money in the Bank, when they were having some sort of moment where it could lead to a match, and Trish was like, "You should listen to me," and Tiffy was like, "No, fuck you," and that was it. Now they're gonna be best friends and team up against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. So there is that. And that's effectively turning her babyface, solidifying it for Tiffy.
They've got a lot in common. They got the same initials. They can do Trishy time and Tiffy time. They're both blonde. You know, they're both wrestlers. They're both champions or former champions. A lot in common.
They're both from nice parts of the world. She's from Minnesota. Trish is from Canada.
Minnesota's just boring.
That's true. Minnesota is boring, but they're nice people in Minnesota.
Yeah.
What's Tiffany's real name? Oh, is she Wolnica? What's that? Hold on. What's that from? Polish. It's Trish is Greek, so I guess we can't do that. One's Greek and one's Polish.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, they have a tag team match. Don't know how to feel about how we got there, because Nia Jax was going after the women's title, and for some reason her tag team partner / heater decided to get her DQ'd to get to this point. That was a little rough, because otherwise the match was going well.
But Tiffany was going for the prettiest moonsault ever, so Candice interrupted that, effectively thinking she's going to hit this and pin Nia. I should make the save. Like, I get the thinking. It wasn't as bad as some other DQ finishes. The problem is you're just doing the same DQ finish that you did on Monday, and you're also beating your women's mid-card champions like you did on Monday. Like, SmackDown just felt like a copy of Raw, at least for the women's division. And that's the part that I'm like, this is all dumb.
Yes. Naomi defeated Chelsea Green to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. After that happened, I thought maybe Chelsea versus Trish was on the cards, but they definitely are. Yeah, they aren't doing that. I don't know where Chelsea Green slots in for Elimination Chamber weekend. Maybe there'll be a defense, maybe a three-way on SmackDown between her, B-Fab, and Michin. That's pretty much all I can think of at this point. Is that the end of Chelsea Green's title reign, or what are we doing? Loses the U.S. Championship in Canada. Let's go.
I don't think she's gonna lose. Like, who's she gonna face?
Michin and B-Fab. They'll do it with triple threat.
They're not doing that on the PLE.
No. The night before on SmackDown.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing anything. I don't think they're doing anything on the PLE for those two.
I don't think she's losing that match.
No.
No. Like, she's beaten. They got to stop with the Michin thing. It's not a knock on Mia and Michin. It's just they've done that match to death at this point. They don't need to do it anymore. BFAB is fine as a SmackDown contender who loses, but that shouldn't be Chelsea's loss there. Oh, I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Yeah.
Zelina Vega is not a name I want to see win the U.S. Championship just yet. She'll block you on Twitter for that, but that's just the way it goes. KO's calling out Sami Zayn in Elimination Chamber. People immediately jump to this as a potential match. Still think that's the Mania match. Think we're doing an angle between KO and Sami in Toronto. People are going to be very they're going to be so confused. Not because of the is it a match, is it not a match? More just the who do I cheer? Because it's Canada. We cheer all of our fellow countrymen. KO though.
I think they're just going to fight. It doesn't feel like this is an actual match in Canada. It feels like they're just going to come out and just brawl through. Well, they just did this with Kevin and Randy, right? In Saudi, it was supposed to be a match, and then they just brawled, and then it wasn't a match. It feels like they're going to do the same thing here.
Yeah, and you know what? If it's going to be a 15-minute segment on a PLE that goes, 245, then I can deal with that. If it leads to KO and Sami at WrestleMania, trust me, it'll be more than useful. People will enjoy that. The Jade footage. Should we talk about that for a minute? We got a break in the case. Oh, really? Yeah, maybe once my TV remote works. Hold on. I pressed it off. Is it this one? Oh no. Oh shit. What do
He should have hit it like the batteries weren't working. Flip the batteries like you spin them when they're not working and stuff. What if I change which side they are on? All those little tricks. That's what he should have done.
Just the whole time. Oh, let me take out the back. Let me roll the batteries around a little bit. Put it back. It's one of those speaking remotes. Play security footage. They have cell phone cam footage. Once again, I remind everybody, the loading dock is the one place in any venue where you have a security camera 24/7 pointed at the loading dock. And that's where Jade got taken out. But they refused to get that footage. Liv and Raquel are seen to be walking away from the scene. And then you got Naomi being like, I told you it wasn't me. And Bianca's like, no one said it was you. Shut up. They're leaning heavily into that. It was what it was. It wasn't fine. It wasn't good. It was just like, we're just slow walking the dog to get to this part. This was not very good.
I hope there's a bigger payoff than it was just Raquel and Liv. And Raquel and Liv end up winning the tag team titles out of this. That feels like such a weak payoff. It's like, oh, okay, cool. The heels did what the heels do, and it took you 4 months to figure this out. Like all of that, and it took you 4 months, and that's going to be your payoff is the people who have been attacking people for, because they attacked Rhea at NXT like a month before. They did the Jade angle. It might have been the same month, honestly. It was in the same little time frame there.
It was the same week. They were doing 3 whodunits in a row.
Oh, okay.
Well, it was something crazy like that.
There you go. But yeah, I hope there's another payoff to it. Because if it's just those two, it's just like, all right. You could have revealed that probably the week of, if that was your big plan. If you got a little something more, then okay. I understand taking your time with it. If it's a heel turn for Naomi, if it's a heel turn for Bianca, at least that feels a little bit more satisfying than the two big female heels win all big female heel. 4 months, everybody. 4 months.
4 months. My feeling is that they'll do Liv and Raquel versus Naomi and Bianca for the tag titles. Liv and Raquel are going to win. They'll cheat to win. And then afterwards, they'll be like, thanks to the match, we didn't do it. And then that'll be the turn from either Naomi or Bianca. Someone will get really frustrated, and that'll be the turn. Easy as that. And then the Jade return hopefully happens sooner than later. But they got to get the tag titles off of Bianca and Naomi to facilitate whatever this is. And that's one way of doing it. using this red herring as a red herring, but also as a storyline beat to get rid of the tag titles and move it to whatever the singles feud is. Easy as that. There really wasn't much else from SmackDown that's worth talking about. Solo's back. He loves Jacob Fatu, but Jacob Fatu doesn't love him back.
God. We're going to do Solo and Cody at Elimination Chamber, aren't we?
I don't know. I think Cody's just going to sit there and wave at the chamber winner. I really think that's it.
I
know you think he wants to work the show. I know you do. I know you say that, but I don't think they're going to do it. I think they got 2 Elimination Chamber matches. They got the women's tag team match, not the tag team titles, but the Trish and Tiffy match. They'll do the Kevin and KO segment, and maybe they'll do a 5th match, but a 5th segment, but I don't know what it is. I don't think it's Cody. I think it's more likely the U.S. title thing. Do LA Knight versus Shinsuke again, the PLE US special.
I'm steadfast in my belief that Cody Rhodes will be wrestling on this show because he wants that entrance, he wants that pop, and he wants that feeling.
They might just do what's his face? Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman as a big Haas fight on the PLE just to do that. And maybe Cody and Solo is the SmackDown match if they do it again, but I don't know if they will.
All right.
Yeah, people are still waiting for the Jacob Fatu turn. But if he turns on Solo, one of them has to turn babyface. It's very weird.
Jacob's the babyface.
Yeah, they're chanting.
He's gonna get cheered. Yeah,
that's true. Grace is saying Cody and Jay versus Solo and Jacob. You could do that on a SmackDown. That's a main event. They keep running these tag teams with Cody main events. They could do something like that.
That's a weird match now, just because Jay has made his WrestleMania choice. So.
But he's still in the bloodline story and has history with Cody and has a history with Solo and Jacob. So could be Jay just comes to save his friend and wants to, be on his side. I don't know. But I think doing the Solo and Jacob tag team match that leads to Solo and Jacob having their falling out, that could be it in whatever Cody's match is. It could be Cody and Cena, not that week, but after Cena wins, you could do a Cody and Cena versus Solo and Jacob. Cody and Cena win. Solo and Jacob have their split. You could do that. Something like that could work.
Cody and Big Jim against Jacob and Solo.
You're trying to build Big Jim. You can totally use Jimmy as a friend to Cody Rhodes.
I still think Cody's wrestling on this show. I don't know how he gets there, but I think he gets there.
He's gonna replace Trish Stratus.
He's gonna be in this chamber if he needs to be. He's gonna be on this show in wrestling. I'm not backing down from that.
That's fair. I don't think he's going to be. I think he's going to be sitting. I think he's sitting ringside, just like I think Rhea Ripley is sitting ringside for her chamber match. Or they'll do the step out. The champion steps out and confronts the winner, and that's that. I think that's as easy as that.
You should be watching from the suite. Why are they going to sit ringside? Just watch from the suite.
Well, because ringside, they're in it. They're in the, they're in the shit, as it were. Yeah. Monday Night Raw is tonight. Shall we get there, or do we have something else to talk about between now and then?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. SmackDown was just kind of, it was 3 hours, and that was that. Yeah. Loaded Raw, though. There's a lot going on tonight on Raw. Charlotte, North Carolina. It's on Netflix. Go watch that. Or don't. I don't care. The Intercontinental Championship #1 contenders match. Ivy Nile takes on Dakota Kai. Ivy Nile's going to get the win, isn't she?
Why isn't Bayley in this match? Bayley pinned the champion. Why isn't Bayley getting a title shot?
It's a good point. Bayley also has been losing left, right, and center minus that one win.
All right, well, she still won the match. She still pinned the Intercontinental Champion. Feels like she should get a title match. Feels like Lyra should want to run that back and prove herself. Instead, we're getting Dakota and Ivy, which is like a fine match, but maybe my memory is wrong. I'm going to look this up. When the hell has Ivy won anything?
I'm sure there's been something on Main Event over the last little while.
Yeah, well, you'd actually be right. She did beat Natalya on Main Event. The last victory on Raw for Ivy Nile was October 2024 when she defeated Zelina Vega.
As one
does. That was the last win for Ivy Nile. She hasn't won anything. I don't know why she's in this match outside of, I get it, she has beef with Lyra, but it feels like Bayley should be in this match. At least Dakota came back last week and they won the tag team match. So you can, and she made it to the finals of the tournament. So there's at least some momentum with Dakota on being in the finals, winning 2 straight tag team matches with EO. There's something there with her to justify her being in this type of match. This match should be Dakota and Bayley. And I don't even know if Bayley should even be in it. Bayley should just have a title shot.
People mentioning she eliminated Lyra from the Rumble. Did Ivy Nile? Sure. And then Ivy Nile got eliminated by Maxine Dupree. And then PFC they all eliminated Maxine. So why isn't Zoe Stark in this match? So I see your point of view. I also like, again, the way they set it up is always silly. Ivy said, "I want your title," and Dakota Kai has been winning a match. She didn't even win last week in that tag match, did she? She lost.
Who?
I forget who won the tag match last week between Liv and Raquel, Dakota and EO.
Dakota and EO. So I said.
Oh, so Dakota gets the win. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Sure. Speaking of which, Bianca Belair and Naomi are going to appear. They are the women's tag team champions. We were talking about them earlier with Liv and Raquel. Sami Zayn's going to appear. I wonder if that's an in-person or is that another camera in his bed.
Adam Pearce made it seem like it was an in-person thing.
All right, good for him. Got out of bed faster than we thought. Elimination Chamber qualifying match. The last one for the women is Raquel Rodriguez versus Roxanne Perez. This feels like this should be Roxanne's to win, I hope. But at the same time, you don't have any big bases in the chamber right now, do you? So Raquel would be that person.
I think Bianca and Naomi cost Raquel.
Yeah, it's more like it. But otherwise, Roxanne in the chamber would work for me. Penta takes on Pete Dunne. AJ Styles and Dominic Mysterio is going to be a 7-star match. Banger, if you will. I'm actually legitimately looking forward to Styles and Mysterio. That should be fun. And then the other Elimination Chamber qualifying match, presumably the main event, Seth Rollins takes on Finn Balor. We going to do something about Finn Balor and his group of ragtag weirdos? Or is this just going to be Finn Balor loses and we go off the air? Thank you for watching.
No, they're all over this show. I mean, Raquel's got a match, Dominic's got a match, and Finn's got a match. Oh, if you're going to progress anything with them, this might be the show to do it. But it feels like all of them are going to lose as well.
Yeah, it does. And then they got to do something's got to change. And the change is Penta joins Judgment Day. I don't know what you do. You got Penta, meanwhile, is going to need a friend soon because Pete Dunne and Ludwig Kaiser are now a dream team. So I wonder who's going to join Penta. I know people have their ideas.
Does he have a brother that can help him? I
don't think he has a brother. His brother's currently imprisoned and in a straitjacket. If you pay attention to him, yeah. But he's in a bay somewhere, and I'm not talking about the department store. some bay.
Is there a Bay department store? Old Bay?
Yeah. It was called the Bay. It's called the Hudson's Bay Company. It's a Canadian staple, historical staple. Okay. Yeah, he's in prison apparently. Well, best wishes to Penta's brother.
Old Bay is like a seasoning, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
He's not in Old Bay. He's in a different bay. Very unfortunate.
Could be in seasoning.
Yeah, it is a seasoning for fish. It's also for other things, but most people use it for fish. Anyway, Penta will eventually have a friend. Maybe a friend who likes to smoke weed and stuff. Not that guy, the other one. The one who's dating, doesn't matter. J.K. Schwal sent a super chat saying, wasn't Dallas at Globe Life for baseball this weekend and pleasantly surprised by all-in promotion inside the stadium and during the games and ticket giveaways. That's really cool. I'm glad that AEW is getting in there and putting all in front and center for Globe Life Stadium. They got to fill that place to the best of their ability for July. I hope they do. I hope it's a full show.
Whatever is running at that stadium between now and July, they should be promoting all over it. Like anybody who comes into that stadium by the time they leave, they should know that All In takes place at that stadium in July. So good. I'm glad they're doing things like that. That's what they should be doing.
AEW has also put tickets on pre-sale soon. It's going to be on the 20th. They're coming back to Boston April 16th and 17th. They're going to be at MGM Music Hall at Fenway. Looking forward to that. So I guess it'll be it'll be a live Dynamite and then a taped Collision the next night in Boston. So they go April 16th and 17th. Is that around when? That's after Dynasty. I think that's actually the show after Dynasty. Cool. Okay. There you go. So if you're in Boston and you want to go see some AEW, that's your chance. Is there anything else we need to cover? This was a busy weekend, but not like a super duper news filled weekend. Stuff happened.
It's not the show after Dynasty, by the way. It's 2 shows after Dynasty.
Sure. Why not? Yeah. Oh, because never mind. They're in Philly for that. Anyway.
Yeah, then they're in Baltimore for Dynamite.
Cam saying they gave away All In tickets at the taping last week via rock, paper, scissors. Rock won, of course. Good Lord. Oh, you know what? Fill it up. I don't care how you do it.
No one thought they used paper against The Rock.
You just cut the paper. Just cut the paper. I can't believe the Aussies, by the way. I can't believe you booed your countrymen. You can't do that on the show. You can't do that. Can't boo your countrymen. You're supposed to cheer them. Otherwise, everyone gets confused as to where you're supposed to be on the depth chart. Meanwhile, here we are talking about Canadians not wanting to boo KO or Sammy. So we'll see where that argument goes in a couple of weeks. Hint, it won't. All right. You want to get out of here early for a change?
Sure.
Anything to plug?
Never.
Oh, man. Get your rings set up, friends. Get them set up. Get them sized right. At my wedding, I wore a 10. Now I wear an 11 or a 12. Get your ring size right, because you never know when you're going to need it. And if the steps are too small, make bigger steps. For Jeremy Lambert, you know who I am. Leave a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Back tomorrow. Jeremy will be much happier to be with SP3 and not with me. I get it. Because he'll talk about basketball for 28 minutes. And I'll be enjoying not being there. You know who he is. You know who I am. Ladies and gentlemen, friends of me on the binary. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.